Good morning and welcome, exhibitors. This is Anna Zamataro, Director of Exhibitions for the American Academy of Ophthalmology. I want to welcome you to another brand new webinar in the Exhibitor Success Educational Program that the Academy is happy to provide you. Today, we'll be looking at trade show, social media, best practices. I want to thank you also for your continued support of the Academy by participating at AAO 2019, which we're very thrilled to be hosting here in our hometown of San Francisco and at the newly renovated Moscone Center. And I also like to point out the excitement that we had, what I believe it was last year, when the E3 program and the Exhibitor Success program from Competitive Edge won the best program to help exhibitors maximize ROI at the Trade Show Gold 100 Award Program. So this is really a gold standard program that we're offering you. One of the keys to that program is the exhibitor resources page that is hosted on the Academy's website under that exhibitor specific Exhibitor Central page. Here you'll find all the previous exhibitor education webinars, workbooks, tools posted for you and your staff's use on a 24/7 basis. Let your marketing team and your sales representatives know about this exhibitor resources page. You can download implementation tools and planning exercises. You can do those exercises and watch the supporting webinars that are all there for your replay. The many exhibiting articles and standout reports are also there, which are produced each year as the Competitive Edge team walks through the exhibition and points out exhibits with really good messaging in their design for the booth. And then, of course, the last thing is that there's also a link to Jefferson's team, and you have a Q&A with them at any time if you have any questions. And without further ado, I want to welcome Jefferson. Take it away, Jefferson.
Thank you, Anna. I tell you, everybody listening here today, over the years, I have worked with over 260 different show organizers, and I'll be honest, I don't think there's a show manager that cares more about her exhibitors than Anna Zamadar. If you've been around this show for a few years, you know she really goes to battle to make sure that you as the exhibitors have everything you need to really win the game of exhibiting. And she's really been a champion of ongoing education. We've been working together. We're probably pushing 20 years now. So I thank you very much. And most of you listening, you do other shows, and you probably know that it feels like the only time you hear from them is when they want to sell you something, or when they want to check, or they're giving you some notice about a booth violation, or, and it's really cool to just be partnered in a long-term thing with a great organization like AAO and Anna who care and really believe that it's not enough to just rent you concrete. Things are changing. We all got to keep learning and growing, and so that's a big part of what we've been working on. And I'm really humbled and honored to have been part of this for as many years as I have. So let's jump into today's content here, trade shows, social media. Now, as we get started, I do understand that there are many levels of experience on this webinar, and we got a really good turnout at this webinar, too. In fact, this is one of our highest attended, maybe ever. But I also understand there's a lot of experience. So for some of you, I think this content may be, oh, yeah, I know that, or, oh, that's a reminder of something that I knew but I maybe haven't been doing. But no matter where your skill set, it's really my hope and belief that you'll walk away with this with a few ideas, right? It doesn't take 100 ideas to turn a trade show program around. It just takes one good idea that shows up at the right time. And we also try to drop these webinars in front of the show to give you time to adapt and apply. So what we're really talking about at the high level here is the critical importance of marketing your participation within an exhibition. We talked about how attendees are more time pressured. They're planning their agendas in advance. They're coming to the show with a clear schedule. They know what sessions they're going to attend. They know how much time they're going to spend in the posters. They have their blocks of time in the exhibit hall. They have a hit list of exhibitors they want to see. They've got a list of things they want to research and learn. And it's so important that you, as an exhibitor, put together a integrated pre and at show marketing campaign to build your visibility and your awareness and drive people to your booth. And you'll see on the screen here, this infographic really shows you an integrated marketing strategy. And I think it's a good idea for everyone listening to just take a look at this and ask, how many of these media do you typically use to promote? And which ones should you be bringing into it that maybe you're not? We're going to really laser focus in today on the top of the arc, if you will, the clock. We're going to go into social media. So let's jump in and get our hands dirty here, and let's get this thing rolling. Like with anything, there's pros and there's cons, right? So what I want to do is just point out some of the high level. Some of the pros of social media is that unless you're doing pay-per-click or some of the more sophisticated stuff, it's pretty much free. Social media is not as intrusive as email. A lot of us today are really wanting to drive our business with email, but email is very cluttered. I call email the new junk mail. The average business person's getting 147 emails a day. And they're not processing them all. I have somebody I know who has 10,000 emails in her inbox. She has extreme approach avoidance about going to her email box. So social media gives you another leg to not just be in that email box. It gives you the ability when you use it pre, at, and post to really not just touch the people that are in the show or attending the show, but reach the whole universe, anybody who's paying attention to the event and anybody who's paying attention to the channel. It gives you access to like people and also hard to reach people. Your messages have the ability to go viral very quickly. If you post a good message in the right place, all of a sudden you can reach 500, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 or more, And nowadays with smartphones and internet and social media, it's very easy to post content on the fly, So there's a lot of good reasons to be using it. For those exhibitors that maybe aren't or struggling, some of the cons, sometimes our expectations are too high. We think that we can just post, do one tweet or post one article on LinkedIn and we're going to get tens of thousands of views, and it doesn't always work like that. The results sometimes are not quick or even self-evident. I think the major question for all of us today, it seems like there are more and more social media channels emerging, is which ones do we use specifically for B2B in our market, in our industry? It can be time intensive. If you are not careful, you can be easily putting 6, 8, 10 hours a week into managing social media. There's a learning curve, like with everything. What's really evolving is that each social media channel has the users have unique preferences. And we're going to share that with you today. But there's a learning curve, what to post, when to post. Should we just do copy, or should we do video, or should we do imagery, or do we have click-throughs? Do we want them to download? There's a learning curve. This can be a little frustrating. The final point that it seems like the rules and the algorithms of how the different platforms are working seem to be changing quite frequently. So pros and cons. To me, the pros outweigh the cons. I do believe based on all my clients' experience, that integrating social media into your exhibit marketing campaign is a smart play. Just be careful of some of the downfalls, the cons that we talked about. So what I want to do now is transition into some research. I don't know if you read Exhibitor Magazine, but if you're a serious exhibitor, you should absolutely be reading Exhibitor Magazine. It's a monthly. There's a digital version online, and there's a print version. I use both. I get the print version, and I always stack them up, and I read them when I'm flying on airplanes. I was excited to see that they did a social media survey of exhibitors in 2018. So what you're seeing on the screen here right now, on the left, the top platforms. So they asked North American B2B exhibitors, what social media platforms are you using for exhibit marketing? And number one, with 81%, is Facebook. So 81% of exhibitors are saying that's the first channel they use. Twitter is very close, 79%. And then LinkedIn comes in at number 3 at 66%. Surprisingly, YouTube is only at 20%, and Instagram's at 37%, and Snapchat is only at 6%. So, to me, when I look at this, these top 3 are certainly, I'm going to want to be in as many of those as I can, and then I'll kind of add in the other as I can. To the right, what was interesting was they asked the exhibitors, which objectives has social media helped your organization achieve? And if you look at the bar graph here, you'll see number 1 was brand awareness. 83% felt it was helping drive brand awareness up. Number 2 was increased traffic to either their website or a microsite, with 69%. And number 3, which really excites me, 57%, it had a very strong hand in driving booth traffic. And interestingly enough, that's what we're talking about here, right? Building our brand and driving traffic, either or, ideally to our booth, right? So on the next piece of the survey, what they were asking was, how do you measure this? Because there are some people say you can't really measure it, and there's some truth to that. But you'll notice that at the top of the list was a number of impressions. Just how many people viewed that were trackable views. Like, I do a fair amount of posting on LinkedIn, and that's the first thing I'm looking at, is how many views of my post. And one thing I did find is that video, when I posted video, the number of views doubled versus just posting text or imagery with copy. So video, right, drives up the number of views, which we'll talk more as we go through today's webinar. Number 2 was tweets, retweets, or mentions. They were trying to track how many people were retweeting or mentioning them. And then tied for number 2 was the number of posts, the comments or the likes, right? People that were actually adding comments or liking the post. And number 3 was click-through rates. Specifically, if you're putting call to action tags in your posts, which we strongly recommend, then number 3 was the click-through rates or something that they're really watching. So I think the big question for you right now is, what channels are you currently using for your exhibit program? Number 1, what are your objectives? What are your reasons? Why are you doing that? And how are you currently measuring that? This gives you some good third-party research to see if you're in line with what most exhibitors are doing. So I want to jump in now and kind of take us through, like a David Letterman used to do, the top 10, just kind of 10 social media practices that I think would be useful for exhibitors of really any experience range. Number 1 is, if you're new to it or you're short on time, which short on time probably speaks to us all, right? Then don't try to dabble in all the options. The old saying, be a jack of all trades, but a master of none. I wouldn't try to spread myself across 5, 6 platforms at once. I would suggest maybe narrowing it down to the top two that are really the best fit for your company and how you communicate for your industry, for what ophthalmologists, what they're paying attention to, what they're engaging with. So don't try to do it all. Pick two. And once you do, really commit to a consistent campaign. You don't want to just show up and, have 2 or 3, 5, 7 posts over the 2 weeks for the show and then go dark. Once you get this ball rolling, you've got to keep it rolling, right? And the way to do that, which we'll talk more about, is developing a social media plan, which includes your media, your objectives, your measurement metrics, and a posting calendar, which we'll talk more about on that. So number 2, always, when it comes to promoting your participation in an event, is piggyback on what the show management or the association is doing. Pay attention to their posts. Look at the type of messaging that they're sending. Notice key words that are showing up frequently, and notice key phrases that are showing up frequently as a way for you to kind of build upon that content, and just use those keywords are really important in terms of having you flash in front of the audience. Number 2 would be sure to connect with the American Academy of Ophthalmology and follow AAO because they're posting, share their posts, right, with your universe. Add comments, speak to the posts. Let people know you're going to be at the show. Put your booth number in there, And you'll notice the different channels. Yes, Anna, did you have something to?
Yes, I was just going to jump in real quick, Jefferson, to say that on the Academy's web pages, you'll see at the bottom of each page the different social media that the Academy is posting on and inviting people to follow the Academy on. There's Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and such. So be sure to go out, look at those, and of course, join those social media excuse me, programs.
Yeah, that's really important. It's a way for you to really kind of get more visible within the group. Facebook, you'll see the Facebook, the American Academy of Ophthalmology Facebook group. Twitter, you'll see both the hashtag and the handle along with the URL. LinkedIn, there's a company page, LinkedIn, and Instagram, which they're getting a lot more focused on. So make sure to tag all those, get involved in all those because there's a lot of eyes on those. So make sure you get involved. Number 3, our top 10. This is probably the biggest challenge, really. There are people out there that are running around saying, if you're not on Facebook, you live in a cave. Well, if we're talking B2B, right? Business to business, marketing, relationship, communications, and my customers are not spending much time on their business day on Facebook, am I really in a cave, right? Probably not. So I think the greatest question all of us have to ask and answer is what channels is your audience paying attention to, right? So one of the ways to do that is ask your staff on all your inbound and your outbound calls and communications. Just ask them, hey, what social media channels are you engaging with for running your practice, for your professional career? It's not so much about what you're doing on, Friday night or Saturday afternoon when you're home. I'm looking more, that's your space. And you got to be careful about entering into people's personal space too much. We're all looking for the more high tech we come, the more high touch we need to be, and the more space people want. Another way to do it is you could use like SurveyMonkey, and you might take your top 50 or your top 100 customers and just blast out a quick 2-sentence, 2-question survey. Which social media channels do you interact with for operating your practice, and which one's your go-to, your most important, right? And you might even ask questions like, what sort of topics might you like to see from us as a partner, as a thought leader, as a subject matter expert? And you could build that survey out, but 3 to 5 questions would be the top, And what I would do is if I sent that out to my top 100 customers, 67 of my customers said they are primarily using LinkedIn, I'm going to really that's going to be where I'm going to spend most of my time. You know. Number three, within the channels, groups. Watch for groups. LinkedIn, Facebook has groups, but LinkedIn is really powerful on groups. So visit your customers' social media pages, LinkedIn pages, and others, and notice the groups that they're members of, and join those groups and post content up there, and watch content and respond to posts, comments, and when people like your content or retweet it, and you're tracking all this, be sure to thank them. There's an old saying that what gets rewarded gets repeated. And just, hey, thanks so much for liking our content. We really appreciate it. People tend to do more of what they get acknowledged for, so that's a good thing. Number three, our fourth best practice is manage your post frequency for trade shows. Because it's a very specific time-based event, 3 days, 4 days, then you're going to want to develop your own kind of algorithm, if you will, in terms of what. But here's a good starting point. Begin with that calendar, working back from show dates. Then at least weekly, starting 2 months before show. Now, we'll give you posting ideas by channel in a moment, but we're talking more about just how often. Weekly, 2 months, 2 to 3 times a week leading up to showtime, 3 to 5 times a week when you get into that 1 to 2 week before showtime window, and if at all possible, daily during the show, posting daily during the show. And then you'll want to 2 to 3 times a week, right after the show, and then of course you'll want to keep your posting going year round. But this gives you that pre-at and post time frame. Okay, so you don't want to be the one that's just like crying wolf and posting 27 times a day, and that little red number flashing up on people's cell phone. After a while, they'll go numb to it. So you got to find that balance. And that's another question, by the way, you could ask in your survey of your customers. How often would you like to see content from us? And again, people will be all over the place, but if you summarize the survey, I think you'll come back with some really good recon and be able to tailor your social media plan right for your audience, which is what we're talking about. We mentioned this before, but I'm going to bring it back again. Use the show name, AAO, use the hashtag, use the Twitter handle. Be sure to include that in all of your show-related posts, because it will immediately, not only does it establish relevance, people are paying attention because they know they're going to the show, right? And you're kind of leveraging the show's brand visibility, but it'll also help you increase the reach of your posts. So if you're going to post anything about being at a show, have the show name, the show hashtag, the Twitter handle, post, okay? Number 6, we all know today, less is more. Keeping your posts short. Some of the media force brevity, but you got to be able to really hit your messaging in sound bites. You can't get too long and deep. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Photographs get extremely high look. And as I just found out, as I mentioned to you with videos, when we were posting live from trade show floors this year, it was the videos that we posted that were getting double the views of our just straight photo and text posts. Videos get views, okay? Keep it short, right? Photos, videos. The ability to do live streaming. Facebook has a built-in live streaming feature, which if you're doing a product launch at the show, you're doing a really cool demonstration, a presentation in your booth, maybe you're doing theater or educational sessions within your space, you could use Facebook to actually live stream that and reach people who are not at the show. Periscope and Meerkat are 2 live streaming applications, which a lot of exhibitors are saying they're having a lot of success with, to give you probably the ability to do a live stream and distribute it throughout all of your social media. So video posting. Relevance and importance, right? That's really the key. Here's the phrase. Relevance will get you noticed. Importance will get you engagement. So as you think about your content, it's like, how's this relevant to my audience? and how's it important? The more relevant it is, the higher number of views. The more important it is, the higher the number of likes, comments, and click-throughs. So think about issues. Think about concerns. Think about the FDA and regulations and compliance and all the stuff that's keeping ophthalmologists awake at night, and try to really make your posts be topical, not always about your product, right, your services, but more about what's happening in the industry, what's keeping people awake at night. When you promote your exhibit, there are 4 key words that you're going to want to think through, because it'll help you define your visitor experience. What are they going to see? What are they going to do? What are they going to learn? What are they going to get? And by the way, those could be 4 separate posts. Hey, while you're at the AAO 19, be sure to stop by our booth to see, the latest breakthrough development in this or that. Number 2 might be, oh, by the way, when you come by our booth, right, we're going to have a interactive, hands-on, 60-second challenge, which you're going to get to test your current skill or knowledge on this or that. Learn. Hey, it's one of the top reasons people go to shows. Medical shows specifically is they're coming to learn. And if you have any form of giveaway that is in compliance, of course, with the Pharma Code, the AdvaMed, and the Sunshine Act, make sure that you stay in compliance, and the show regulations when it comes to giveaways from your booth. Make sure you're in compliance with all of those, but promote them, right? As long as you're giving away content that is, whether it's practice management, patient care, patient education, staff education, you'll always be, you won't have to worry too much about it. And of course, don't be shy about trying to spotlight your unique selling proposition, what makes you different. It seems like every buyer today has overchoice of who to buy from. And there's only 2 major questions they ask in their mind. Why at all, meaning the application, the problem, or the need, and why you, right? And for some of you, right, a lot of your messaging might not be so much about building the need. The need is already there in the market. What you got to do is really try to make yourself unique, different, preferential, the go-to source for what you do. Number 8, I'm sorry, new. Let me say that again, new. I can't scream that enough. Every show we go to, we've done 27,000 exhibit evaluations. I'm absolutely amazed at how many exhibitors have something new in their booth and how few are doing a good job of promoting it. New is an absolute magnet at a trade show. So make sure you're emphasizing what's new. Photos, links, right? Number 9, always stop and ask yourself, what do you want the reader to do after they read their post? Right? It's not just to read it, but I'm looking for what's the next action. And that's going to be your call to action. So you're going to want to have your call to action tag usually around the middle and toward the end of the copy. And finally, our top 10, just remember this, social media is a different animal. It's really about community. It's about knowledge sharing. It's about conversations. It's about thought leadership, right? It's about interactivity. It's not about hard selling. So if you can make your content educational with white paper, like industry intelligence reports, case studies, PAR reports, problem approach result reports, checklists, patient education guides, staff education guides, right? And no harm or foul in showing the human side of your business, It's, at the end of the day, people buy from people. Putting a spotlight on your people, new staff, executives. Maybe you've just developed this breakthrough new product that is wowing the whole industry, and you've got a genius on your staff who created this. So don't be shy about putting your people in the spotlight too. People are people watchers. Keep an eye on those conversations. Start them. Go into those groups. Start. Throw out a question. Throw out a poll. drive conversations down your alley, so to speak. And links, right? Links are really important. So far we've covered the pros and cons of social media. We have covered Exhibitor Magazine's 2018 research on exhibitor practices. We've given you a top 10 list of social media practices. For the rest of the webinar, I'm going to take the top 5 channels and give you some very specific content on using the top 5 channels. Okay, so here we go. Before I go there, social media posting calendar. I did mention this earlier. So what you're going to want to do is create some form of a document or a tool, right? You'll see the screen where it's color-coded: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. And you'll notice along the top, they have the time of day that they post. And by the way, each channel has times of days where if you post in those windows, you're going to get higher response. We're going to share that. What type of content they're promoting. It's a blog post, it's curated content, it's video, it's promotion. The topic, right? What are they doing here? And then the actual copy and the links. Now, obviously, you can take Excel and create your own sheet, but what many of you may want to do, because I know that all of you are time pressured, right, is use a social media management tool. One of the first people into that space was Hootsuite, right in the middle of these 8 that I've listed here, these 7. But a lot of others have emerged, and it seems like they keep getting better and better. And so these tools will allow you to connect all of your social media channels to one app and manage everything through one app. And I'm not recommending any specific one, but I'm telling you that if social media is a part of your game, check these out. Find the one that you feel best suits your needs. It'll save you a ton of time, and it'll make your life so much easier. All right, so here we go. Facebook, number 1, right? That was the number 1. So people who engage with Facebook prefer that personal touch. They really want to know that there's people behind the brands, right? People who engage with Facebook, really, it's about belonging. It's about their community group. There's a strong need to belong on Facebook. Keep that in mind as you think about content. The trade show uses, you should already have a company page up. You'll see on the right an example of a company page. If you don't, start by setting up a company page. Then you have the ability, bottom right image, to set up an event page. So you could have a AAO annual meeting event page, right? Then you could have a custom tab on your Facebook page, which would showcase your upcoming shows. Facebook's getting really robust in their targeting tools and the ability to put your content based on demographics and keywords. So make sure that you take a look at that. There's online tutorials all over the place on Facebook about how to optimize it. And if you're using Facebook, it would be worthy to spend a little time. So posting ideas. The best days and times are Thursday and Friday between 1 and 4 p.m. On average, you'll see an 18% jump in your visitor engagement. And Saturday and Sunday between 12 and 1 p.m., a 32% jump, which is really interesting. One of the basic things you would do as a starting point, if nothing else, is just announce your exhibit. Show names, the dates, the hashtag, your booth number, what you'll be displaying, with big emphasis on why they should come see you. Videos, pictures of your photo in action, in development, client testimonials, customer interviews. Maybe you're even going to do a time lapse of your exhibit being created, whether it's being created back at the exhibit house or your property, or even on site. Bring in your cell phone, right, and time lapsing the setup of your booth and then posting it up. Remember your 4 key words: see, do, learn, get. Make sure that you sprinkle those throughout your posts. If you're having any compliant giveaways, product demonstrations, celebrity appearances, hospitality events, presentations, in your booth, presentations you're part of, outside of your booth, mention those. Okay, so some good ideas, posting ideas for Facebook. Let's go next to Twitter. A little different than Facebook. People here are short and simple, right to the heart of the matter, right? Links, very important in Twitter. Hashtags, extremely important in Twitter. So make sure you are using the AAO hashtag everything you do on Twitter. You might also, one of the best practices is to create your own event hashtag. Maybe you have a theme for your booth, some form of a hashtag, and then leverage yours. Use it before, during, and even after if they can still access it. A lot of people don't know, but Twitter has increased their character length from 140 to 280. So you have double the characters now. And so if you're going to drop links in there, you'll want to get your links toward the front, that quarter mark or halfway mark of your text. Always encourage your customers, and if you're using in your booth, to tweet and retweet. What we're seeing a lot of on show floors is like the Twitter stream live in the booth, either on a video screen, a flat panel, or even a video wall. And we're seeing a lot of exhibitors that are really taking advantage to get their customers to snap an image in the booth and post it on Twitter, to get it out there. So Twitter, best days and times: Wednesday at noon, Monday through Friday between 12 and 3 p.m. and at 5 p.m. Short videos that promote your exhibit and tease them, right? Tease them about what they're going to learn, or tease them about, get them excited about a new product. Don't give them the whole story. Just, if you remember years ago when they introduced the Mazda Miata, they had a whole series of commercials, and all they showed was this silhouette covered by a drape, and the wind blew almost like Marilyn Monroe, and all you saw was the rear quarter panel and the tire, and you just couldn't wait to, pull that back and see what was under it, right? That's a great approach for trade shows. Really encourage people to retweet your messages. Be very clear. Say, hey, if you like this, be sure to retweet, and thank them when they do. LinkedIn, whole different platform. This is really, in terms of B2B, I think this is the number one platform. But people who are on LinkedIn are really professional growth and continual learning. People are using LinkedIn to stay abreast of the latest ideas and the best thinking. And they're searching for content and posts that can help them do their jobs better and advance their career. Networking is big on LinkedIn. The groups, if you can get a authority leadership group set up that you moderate, people love getting on LinkedIn and adding to and having these conversations. So your trade show use, if you don't have one now, a company page for sure. A showcase page on LinkedIn would give you the ability to spotlight your upcoming shows. Groups, and of course, join the AAO LinkedIn page and group. There's tutorials on how to do that. Best days and times to post: Tuesday, 10 to 11, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 7:30 a.m. or 5 to 6 p.m. Some of this is repetitive. The keys are set as soon as you know you're exhibiting, send out an event invite to your entire connections, right? They may be coming, they may not. They may come because of you. They may very well forward you to others. Promote within groups. Really emphasize learning on LinkedIn. Focus on what the visitors are going to learn. And here's another one. Once you are connected, use InMail. InMail, the average B2B email, only 3 out of 100 are opened. 1 out of 4 InMails get opened in LinkedIn. So put LinkedIn InMail to work. Once you're connected and you've got that contact, use InMail to set up meeting times, invite events, whether rewards, some form of an incentive or opportunity, an educational event. Maybe you're going to do a flash meetup at the show, stuff like that. Okay. YouTube, set up a channel if you don't have one already, a company channel. Put it on the home page of your website. It'll drive up your organic search listing. Repurpose videos that you already have. You can shorten them down, get them in that 35, 60, 90-second, 2-minute window. Be sure to put search terms, keywords, and tags. Be sure to include the show name on your videos that are relevant. And then you can distribute your YouTube links throughout all the other channels. Teaser videos. Again, I mentioned that earlier. I'm coming back to that because there are everybody wants to know. Curiosity killed the cat, right? And capturing video content from in-booth activities and things going on around the event, posting those daily to your channel, and then using those links throughout your other channels. Instagram, next. People who engage with Instagram, it's all about the image. So you want to use your higher quality images. You want to make sure you've got hashtags. And what you're going for is authenticity, brand stories that really touch and resonate with people. Maybe your company is doing a lot in the charity or platform. That's a good story to tell on Instagram. Set up an account, get your logo up there, link it to your site, connect it to your Facebook, get the shows and your booth's hashtag on all your photos so attendees can find them. Geotagging your photos as to where they're physically being taken, and integrate your YouTube video links. Best times of day, Monday and Thursday, anytime but 3 to 4 p.m. Wednesday at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. Instagram is the place where you can use pictures to build a story, to tell build a series of pictures, and capturing your company's important moments. And again, if you're having any compliant promotions, be sure to promote those in terms of what it is. Again, make sure you're in compliance. I can't stress that enough. All right, so we have covered a lot of ground. I'm right here at the buzzer. I'm going to open the room for questions. Anna, I want to toss it back to you for any additional thoughts or any closing comments.
No, Jefferson, I don't have any. Just to say that I think that what you presented is really dynamic, and I can't stress enough for exhibitors to join the Academy social media platforms and to get active in posting information about what will be going on in their booth. We really want them to be able to identify where their booth is, especially in San Francisco. And that actually brings up a good point that I would want to mention, that exhibitors should, in any of their promotion, indicate what building their booth will be in. We will have 3 exhibit halls in the north, south, and west buildings at Moscone Center. So the key to helping attendees find your booth, if you're in the West building, for example, West 7303, would be how you would call out your booth.
That's great advice, Anna. Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that in. When you're exhibiting at a show that is in multiple halls, your social media can act as a wayfinder to make it easier for attendees to find you. So sometimes it'll have an image of the floor, like the multiple halls with a star, like we are here and your booth number, but using it for wayfinding is really good. So let me see, a couple questions. The first one was, will we get a recording of this? Yes, we recorded it. We will be uploading it within the next day or two onto the Exhibitor Success and ROI Center. You can view it at any time, as many times as you want. Someone asked about where can I access the workbook. I apologize, we didn't see that earlier. On your console, there's a tab that says Handouts. If you click there, you'll see a PDF and a blue link. We're also going to upload the handout to the ESRC right next to the view link. Someone asked, are the best times to post time zone specific? And yeah, they're Eastern time is what they're stated in. Eastern Standard Time. That's a great question. Someone asks, do you know what physicians are using for social media? I don't have any data on that, but I'm going to make it a point when I'm at the meeting this year to mingle around and talk to ophthalmologists, and I'm going to ask them what channels they're using. Anna, does the Academy have any recon about what ophthalmologists are?
That's something that I can certainly ask our communications department about to see if I can get some information, whether or not they have done any kind of polls on that topic.
Okay, yeah, because it's very possible that the Academy, again, I would lean toward it in the B2B world. My experience tells me that LinkedIn would be the power tool of choice because it's B2B. Facebook and Twitter, people are engaging. There's a lot of personal. There's a lot of people that are doing with their family and their friends and their college and their high school. But hey, we told you earlier, one of the best things you can do right now is right after this webinar is take your top 10, your top 20 customers, shoot out a quick email, ask them, say, hey, you're one of my favorite customers. I'd love to have 100 more like you. What for running your career and your practice, what social media channels do you use? And if you go out to 10 of your customers and 7 of them tell you it's LinkedIn, pretty safe bet LinkedIn is going to be a smart play for you. Next question, what if you don't have any new products? What do you suggest posting about? Learning, finding solutions to problems, better, faster, cheaper, safer, greener, cleaner, more productive ways of doing things. Number one reason healthcare professionals attend medical meetings is to learn. You are the subject matter expert. Tease them on. Give us 5 minutes at the booth, and you will learn 3 specific ways to make your next procedure go smoother, cleaner, safer, whatever, right? Let's see. Next question. Do companies' pages created on platforms as Facebook have to be opened through or connected to a personal profile? No, I believe you can create company pages as standalone pages. I don't think you have to link those to a personal page. Next question, how long is the turnaround until you see consistent results? It varies. I wish I could give you some answer and go, wow, if you just do this for 2 weeks, you're going to have like 10,000 viewers, followers, friends, likes, but I can't. It's going to really come down to, are you using the right channel? Are you posting content that is relevant and important to your audience? Remember, relevance will get you noticed. Importance will get you engaged. So to stop and ask yourself, who is my target audience? What situations might be happening in their practice or their procedure that would prompt them to think about what I do? What problems are they experiencing on a day-to-day basis? What are they grappling with? What's keeping them awake at night? That's the content. Like, for example, if you were marketing, the healthcare industry is so driven on appointments, right? Both the patient showing up on time and the physician being able to attend to them on time. And so if they're having like appointment gaps where patients are either not showing up at all or not showing up late, and you had content about how to make sure that 99.9% of your patients show up on time, if that's a concern for them, they're going to come running to your post. So that's what I mean. Think less about your products, your services. Think more about problems, the challenges, the opportunities that your audience is facing, and how you and your products and services are solutions to those. So that is all I'm seeing for questions. So on behalf of Anna, Deborah, and the great team at the American Academy of Ophthalmology, and Jefferson and my E3 team, we thank you so very much for being an exhibitor. We're grateful beyond words that you invested 50 minutes with us on this. My closing thought is this. It's not what you heard today. It's going to be what you do. Circle back through this content, look at your workbook, pick 3 ideas that really made sense for you and put them to work. And be sure to watch your email for the post-webinar survey, which you'll get in about 5 minutes, as we would really like to get your feedback. And we will see you online at the Exhibitor Success and ROI Center. And equally important, we will see you in San Francisco. It'll be here very fast. So have a great day, everybody. We've enjoyed sharing with you. We'll see you online. You got questions, you can reach me here through the Exhibitor Success. Let the questions continue. We're here for you. Have a great day, everybody.